name is Lindy Cowling and welcome to my channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. The title of this short video today is going to be called The Twin Flame Union as a State of Consciousness. The Twin Flame Union as a State of Consciousness. So before I launch into this short video, I would just like to say that if this is the first video you have seen of mine, or if this is the 130th or 132nd or whatever video you've seen of mine, you will know that the sharing that I do on this channel, the information that I share on this channel is experiential, which means it is from my experience, through my perception, and that is the way I prefer it to be, and that is the way I prefer it to work. And as such, this channel in a way is also evolving and also changing, obviously, as I evolve and as I change and my perception and evolution changes, so does the channel. And although I haven't sat back and waded through 130 something videos, I hope, and in time maybe I'll sit down one day and do that, I hope that you are able to see and feel that sense of expansion, that sense of evolution taking place. So there are numerous things that I'd like to talk about really on camera, but I'm going in order of preference, what seems most dominant to me at the moment. I may bring out a second and third one over the next few days as well, or I may not. It depends, I'll see. So the Twin Flame Union as a state of consciousness. As people evolve, as people expand, as people grow, spiritually grow, they can come into that particular state of consciousness, twin flame union state of consciousness, through various paths and in various ways. And sometimes it is triggered through the meeting of one's counterpart, one's complementary one, and other times it is an evolution in somebody's consciousness that takes place first before the arrival of one's counterpart, one's twin, one's divine partner, sacred partner, whatever name you want to put on that. And sometimes is a state of consciousness and the person isn't expecting to meet a partner, their partner, but it's a state of consciousness that's happened within. So there are various ways that that state of consciousness can be activated. but it cannot be forced because it is a natural state of evolution. Now, the one I'd like to comment on mainly is through my experience, which was having absolutely, at the time I was triggered into that state of evolution, having no preconceived idea about twin flames. I personally had not heard of the twin flame union. A friend of mine who is a radio show host in America back in 2010 was the first one that even mentioned the word twin flames, and I didn't even know what it was then, and I had to go look it up. So I didn't come from any preconceived belief system. I wasn't looking, calling, trying. In fact, quite the opposite. I had got to a stage where that was kind of the last thing I was expecting, and I had done a lot of inner work myself, and I had been working for 9 years in the so-called spiritual industry, or people call it the light work industry, whatever name you want to put on it. But that was the last thing I was expecting or looking for. So for me, 2010 was an entry point to that state of consciousness. And then I've shared in many very different ways throughout the time that I've been on YouTube many parts of that experience, and how it evolved and the consequences, both personally but also spiritually and in terms of evolution. So that was my entry point, and I've mentioned again on videos, there's 2 or 3 that I've alluded around this and skirted around this again, where I've said that there will come a point in people's evolution, whatever way they got into the twin flame union state of consciousness, however that happened for them, whether it was kind of etherically and they hadn't actually met somebody in the flesh and then they made an entry point that way, or if they actually met somebody and then it activated it, whatever way round it was, there will come a point in one's evolution where you will realise that you come to a crossroads, you come to a decision on the level of the soul, you come to a decision on the level of the spirit. Do you want to, are you choosing on the level of soul and spirit to continue forward, to continue to open up into that state of consciousness, or are you turning away from your divinity? Are you turning away from, in a way you could say, your highest expression? Are you turning away from higher self and choosing another route? And this is a theme I've woven around through many videos, really, right back to one of my earliest, taking the high road and one taking the low road and things like that. That was a long time ago. I made that one about a year and a half, I think, maybe longer. The point I'm trying to make here is, once you've made a decision on a soul level to continue in that state of consciousness, it cannot be taken away from you. So this is regardless of whether you have your divine partner in front of you, your sacred partner in front of you, your soul partner in front of you, your twin flame in front of you, your complementary one in front of you, you know, all the different labels we can put on it and all the different connotations around here. Regardless of that fact, once you have made that very personal decision inside yourself to continue on in that, it is a template, it is a state of consciousness which you can continue forward in and build upon and expand upon and go on to do other things and create. And this all almost overlaps with templates within templates. Whether you are ever going to see your connection again or not. And the reason I'm making this point is there are, in terms of genuine sacred connections, there are still at this point more worldwide that continue forward with that inner state of consciousness, without their complementary one alongside them, without their twin flames beside them, than there are with them. And the point I'm making here is, it is something that once you've made a soul and spirit decision on, that you've decided you wish to step forward in that state of consciousness, it doesn't go away, so it doesn't deactivate. What I'm trying to get across here, it is not dependent in any way of having your divine complement, your twin flame, your soulmate, your soul connection, your spiritual connection, your divine connection with you. And worldwide there are many people that have continued on in that state of consciousness, and there are others that have turned away from it. And it still remains a common phenomena where, for example, in the case of twin flames, one will make the decision, almost carry it for the soul. Okay, I'm going to go forward and do that, and the other one will choose another expression, which is to fall back into the familiar patterning, the familiar marriage, the familiar scenario, and play the linear game. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that in a critical way or a judgmental way. I am just, in a way, reporting how it has been playing out and how it hasn't really changed that much in the time that I've been involved in that template, working with people from all over the world. So when I say from all over the world, that's why it gives me a picture, a global picture of how it's playing out. So if you're watching this, I'm not meaning this in a negative way. What I'm saying is if it plays out that way for you, the actual state of consciousness that's been activated in you, if you choose on a soul level to step into it, to keep following your own expansion, to go within, to do the inner work, to go through the process of it, it continues and expands, and other opportunities come in, especially as you get up through the states of evolution, where you come into what I call the new energy, when you come into what I call the new 12D blueprint, when you come into a state of consciousness that goes beyond the limitations of the original template, the twin flame template. Now, the people I'm talking to here are genuine twin flames. These are genuine, what I call old school twin flame union. These are people that have been in that template for quite some time, probably a number of years. They've been working it, they've been living it, they've been going through their process. The majority of them have been going through that process away from their connection. Some of them are staying away from their connection. Some of them are in communication. But the point I'm making here is, I can't even think of one exception where one of the party hasn't gone forward and literally carried the flame, really. And I have to say again, the majority, it's not. Things are changing and morphing and evolving. Everything is changing every week at the moment, you know, for us personally, all of us, and for humanity. You know, you just have to, you just have to look around you. Things are changing very quickly. What I will say, at the moment, it's still the majority of the ones that decide to step into that process fully and continue on forward. There are still more males than females. I'm sorry, more females than males. There are more females than males doing that. Yeah, there are some males that are really stepped into their divinity, stepped into their heart, stepped into the process, but it's still quite a lot lower amount than the females. Seems to be the females that are really stepping into that space and making that decision on behalf of the connection, on behalf of the soul. And I've said on camera many times before, I feel in an ideal world, in an ideal scenario, I think it's beautiful when you have real genuine twin flames around each other, in friendship, in partnership, working together around each other, you know, in a 5D plus level relationship scenario. The genuine ones that I know of, because there are many people that use that label, but the genuine ones that I know of, without exception, are all using their connection in the workspace to help other people and to help other people find the sense of who they are, to help other people into relationship with themselves, to help people to come into the heart, to help people move forward in that way. It is without doubt, twin flame union, a significant template. A significant template for humanity firstly, and we've already seen the results of what that template has done, because the new energy is coming through with ever increasing frequency, which means humanity are having more spiritual connections, more divine connections. Their state of consciousness, their vibration is raising as a result of templates such as twin flame union. So the results can already be seen, heard and felt. The point I'm making here is the state of consciousness is everything. It's something that I'm passionate about, and if something that I've had the foundations in for a long time, and I realised now why I went into the original kind of work that I was doing, all about states of consciousness, ironically, 16 years ago. And for me now, states of consciousness is actually crucial to everything, because the state of consciousness that you have dictates everything. It dictates your life experience, it dictates your view of the world, it dictates everything. Your mind, your thoughts, your experiences, it dictates everything. And we start as pure consciousness, immaculate consciousness. We start as that. We come in, we have the life experience, it gets dented, it gets bent, it gets distorted, it gets forgotten. Lots of programming comes in, life experiences come in, you know, and the challenge is to get back to one's pure state of consciousness again, back to that state of being. The exciting thing is, with the new energy that's coming in, and the new energy was coming in anyway, it was not dependent on twin flame union template, but twin flame union template is a significant part, a significant player in the reworking and the reformation of relationship scenario. So that's a significant part it's been playing in that. But the new energy was coming in anyway, and the exciting thing is the new energy, like I've said on camera before, regardless of age, race, creed, you know, where you are in the world, life experience, once one enters and returns in a way to that state of consciousness, you're back into that purity. The slate is almost like, I could say, white cleaned. It's like being born again, which is why I say it's like newborn energy. It's like that original, I'm going to call it again, the immaculate energy. It's that purity. It comes from there again. And that is something that's happening with steady increasing frequency across the planet. And once again, once you have worked your way through your process, and when I say work, that process is never going to end. It never ends till the day you pass over, you know, die, move on to another dimension. That process is going to continue, but you will get to a certain point in it where you are entering what I call new energy. You're going back into that purified state. That original state, if you came in via twin flame union, that original template, once that's been activated within you, like I say, and you've made that decision, a consequence of that decision somewhere down the line for you, however long it is that your process takes, you know, it could be weeks, months, years, you will get to a point where you almost like, it's like, I call it like rolling over in bed. It's a simple way of explaining it. You can roll into naturally, quite naturally, that pure consciousness again, what I call the new energy. I call it very, very new because it's expanded and it's very clean. It doesn't have any karma, baggage, doesn't have anything like that on it. It's just squeaky clean. It's that the immaculate energy of creation. It's pure creation. And that is a result of the decision that you make way back in twin flame union of whether you're going to continue forward or not. A very personal decision. Many don't, because when you make that decision, it's not an easy decision to make. Anyone that decides to awaken spiritually, or anyone that's working these templates, will tell you, anyone genuine will tell you, it involves a lot of change. It involves a lot of trials. It involves a lot of challenges. It involves a lot of obstacles. It involves a lot of carving out and digging out the diamond from the soil, you know, the diamond consciousness that you are. That is not something that is handed to you on a plate. It's always a windy path, and like I said, carves out like water pummeling through rocks until it forges a path through the rocks. And that's how it is once you make that decision. But once you're on that path and you've made that decision, there's kind of like, there's no going back, if you like. Even if you wish that there was a way back and think, oh, this is just too much, you know, this sucks, this is too much hard work, or this is too challenging. It becomes the embodiment of who you are. It's not something that is separate from you. It's actually who you are. And you cannot run away from who you are. You cannot switch off who you are once you're aware of who you are. So, in some ways, you know, it's the ultimate gift, but it isn't without its challenges, and you have earned that gift, and you continue to earn that gift. And as I've said before, it's not just for you, it's something that you are continually, in a way, transforming, recycling, transforming and gifting back out to humanity in an act of service. It is not something that one has the option to keep to oneself. It is automatic. It's an automatic transformation of energy once you're in that state where you are constantly giving back what you are receiving, and the embodiment of, really like a process of osmosis. You know, I often do this on camera, do this, you know, like the infinity thing, or even like DNA on camera. It's that kind of process taking place. I really hope that made sense. I know I'm always saying that on video. I always say at the end, oh, I hope that made sense. Yeah, I hope that made sense. It's important to I've been highlighted it in a way before on several videos. I don't think I've ever made one purely on it, really in a way the relevance and the importance of it as a state of consciousness. That, once you've made the decision, like I say, cannot be taken away from you, you know, regardless. If you've made that decision early on to step into it, which many people do, regardless of the outer circumstances, they make that decision. And like I say, it's not the end of something, it's actually the beginning. The twin flame template is the beginning. There are templates within templates and states of consciousness that follow on from that one if you choose to move into them. On that note, I will love you and leave you. Thank you so much to all the lovely people that have continued to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much to the lovely comments and feedback that I get back, and the lovely emails. Thank you so much for watching, taking the time to watch the work that I put out on this channel. I do wish you love and courage, and I'm going to sign off now, so I'll love you and leave you. Thanks for watching, guys. Until we meet again, thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.